Hey, hockey fans out there. Hockey name Belmont. And last Friday, April 12th, I went to the annual Belmont Old Timers Hockey. I've been going there since 1989 when my dad took me. I missed the years from 1997 to 2004 because I was overseas. And I've missed the odd one here and there since 2004. And the prices have gone up, but it's $25 to get to join. There were 84 guys in this year's draft, which is quite a few. And as you can see, each card has a number. Mine was 18, which is where I played when I was an All-Star. Now this is also the 51st anniversary of the draft. It started in 1973 by two of the old-timers in Belmont who are no longer with us. And I know a couple of guys who were there have been going every year nonstop for 51 years. One guy, one of my neighbors, old neighbors, because I don't live there anymore, in Belmont, but one of my old neighbors, he's been going for 50 years, and another one's been going for 49 years. So it's quite the event. It used to be held on top of the Belmont Arena, but now they have it at the Oddfellows Hall. So this year was really different. They had it a week earlier than they should have, but because of scheduling conflicts with the hall and that, and other events in Belmont going on, and they wanted it on a weekend, so they chose this Friday night, even though the regular season doesn't end until the 18th. What that means is that there are a lot of teams that aren't on the bubble. We don't know who's going yet. Now I'm doing this a couple of days later, but on Friday, two teams in the West, St. Louis and Vegas, were still fighting for that last playoff spot, and in the East, there's 5 teams that could potentially get in there: the New York Islanders, Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins, Washington Capitals, and Detroit Red Wings. 5 teams that could all get 2 playoff spots. Most years they do it right on the day the NHL is going to be finished or the day before. And there's only maybe 2 or 3 teams that are on that bubble for one playoff spot. So it was definitely different. So they had all these teams, all these extra teams that you could pick players from. This is what they do. They used to do it where you have to listen carefully and cross off names, but now they've kind of upgraded it to these little slips of paper with a pin on it for every team. So you could choose between 20 different teams this year instead of the usual 16. Just because there's those 7 teams that are on the bubble. So 13 teams as of that Friday were in, and 3 more were waiting to get in. And so there are 7 teams vying for those 3 positions, 1 in the West, 2 in the East. So you could have picked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh might not make the playoffs because I could have got Malkin in the first round, but I tried to shy away from teams that weren't in there yet. So this is one of the views of the guys. It's a small room. The upstairs arena would be much bigger, but it's more expensive. There's an open bar. You can buy drinks. I think for $20 you get 4 drinks. Now every year they go through the winners from the previous year. So if you're in the top 5 spots, you get some money back. I think if you're in 4th and 5th place, you get your money, you get your ticket back. You get $25. Pays for your ticket. And 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, they get money prizes. It's not really that much because this is for a good cause. This is to support Belmont minor hockey. So what they do is when they do it, they announce the first 5 winners. Then they will announce last year's loser, who was in last place. And what they do is they give that guy a towel to wipe his tears away, and they make him wear a yellow hat for the remainder of the night, a yellow helmet that says Mr. Hockey on it. This guy got 1 point. I did pretty good. I came in 14th place. I was number 1 after the first round and then started slipping because I only had 1 guy left. I had Sam Bennett from Florida last year. He was my money guy all the way to the final. He kept me competitive, so I ended up 14th. The guy who won had all Vegas guys. He had Eichel and some other guys, all Vegas. You take a big chance when you pick all from one team because if they don't, they get beat out in the first round and you're screwed. So anyway, there's a closer shot. It's a pretty big guy, so I wasn't getting a facial shot. And he's got his Mr. Hockey helmet on. It's a mocking thing. You think you know so much about drafting and then you blow it. You got to wear that. I've never come even close to wearing that helmet. This year might be different. So what they have is they have a bingo machine. You can just barely see it in the corner here, or over it this way. And then they have a guy announcing all the picks. So this long white sheet of paper Has all 4 rounds. There's only 4 rounds. Once you pick a player, you cannot take that player. So when do the math, 84 guys times that by 4, you're getting 336 players picked. On a normal year, so when you're picking that many guys, you're picking guys who might not even play, which is what happened to me. I picked a guy who was injured last year. Never saw the ice, I don't think. A guy from Winnipeg as my 4th round pick. But this year, because of the way they did it, and because there were still 3 playoff spots up for grabs, there were 20 teams, and 4 of those teams aren't going to make it. So it's buyer beware. So like I said, the bingo machine, each round they go through the bingo machine, they call all the numbers out. You can see the little individual squares right there going across. I'll get a closer look in a minute. There's little green marks that represent a prize, which would be a hat or a t-shirt or something like that. They used to have like money prizes. I remember one year I came out with more money than I spent. $20 for my ticket, $20 for beers, 20, and then this other thing we have. So I'm going to go through everything first round. Now the first pick overall, he gets to go up first. And same with the second, third, fourth, fifth guys. First 5 guys go up in order to pick. After that, they call 5 at a time. You go up and make your pick. So you got to be quick. You got to pay attention. That's the problem with old timers and alcohol. Paying attention is a hard thing to do. Now we always have side bets. I sit with the same group of guys usually every year, friends of my dad's, before he passed away, and we were putting. This year was toonies. Last year was $5, but just inflation has really hit. So we went back down from $5 to $2 a round. And what we do is the first player that picks wins the pot. So we had 5 guys, counting me. So there was $10. So the player, whoever gets to pick first, they win the pot. Except for the last round. On round 4, we put in $2 again. And it's who gets to pick last wins the pot. I won the second round. You would think I would win the last round, but no. Came close. So I came out $4 ahead on that one. Because of my round, I got my toonie back, and then I won $8 and paid my other 3 rounds. So not bad. I got some money out of it. All right, so once you go out to pick, you take the sheet of paper. You put your ticket number on that little slip of paper so you know who it is, so they can record it. And you drop it in a basket. They record it. Some guys do. And then you go on. You wait a couple minutes. Go on to the next round. Each round takes about 40 minutes to go through. Then they give you 10 minutes afterwards. It was also a big storm going on, a windstorm, and the power was knocked out in Belmont. So we were delayed by an hour. Internet services sucked, or I would have had better knowledge. But I'm going to blame it on the alcohol. So let's get down to it. All right. So in the first round, I'm number 18, remember? I picked 70. It's cut off here. I picked 73rd overall. So I didn't get any real big money guys. Like I said, I could have got Malkin from Pittsburgh, but what if Pittsburgh doesn't make the playoffs? Then I'm screwed, right? So I went with a safer bet. I went with Josh Morrissey, defenseman for Winnipeg Jets. He had the most points of anybody there. He's got 10 goals, 57 assists for 67 points. He's a plus 33. So he's a safe bet. Winnipeg has a good team. Hopefully they can get over the hump. That was my first round pick. Pretty solid pick, I thought. Moving on to round 2. So going into the second round, I picked 33rd in the second round, which would be 117th overall. So I picked the 117th player I could find. And I took a guy named Nick Paul. Nick Paul had 23 goals, 20 assists for 43 points, minus 17 though. So for that much, and remember, I'm trying to not pick guys who are not going to be in the playoffs at this point. So my brain was still working at this point. So not a bad second pick, considering where I am. And I was quite happy with that. Then things went to hell. So remember when I said there were St. Louis was fighting out with Vegas? I didn't look closely enough. I actually thought St. Louis was already in the playoffs. I know St. Louis and Vegas were both playing Friday night. Vegas loses, St. Louis wins, there's still hope. Because at that point, there was only 3 points separating them. St. Louis was in their 79th game, and Vegas was in their 78th game. So Vegas had a bit of an edge. I don't know what I was thinking. But in the third round, I picked 78th in the third round, which would be 246th overall. So you just imagine what kind of players you're going to find. I stupidly took from the St. Louis Blues Jordan Kyrou. I don't even care what his stats were. He actually had a lot of points for St. Louis, but because no one was picking any St. Louis guys. So I don't even know what the hell I was thinking. I thought they were in the playoffs. It's the beer and the rum and Coke that I was drinking that night. Did I drive home? No. My son drove me there, and my wife and son came and got me. So I don't know why I picked this guy. He had 65 points. I thought it was a pretty good pick. Just hope they get in the playoffs. And then in the fourth round, my last pick was 79th overall. So in the fourth round, you can see that my fourth round pick was good for 79th in that round. So I was picking 331st out of 336. So I picked Braden Schenn, St. Louis, with 44 points, who was the highest left on any board. Didn't think I should have. Usually what I do is I pick 2 from the West and 2 from the East. This year I went West, East, and then 2 in the West, which is dumb. So Braden Schenn, yay. Bad move on my part. I should have picked from, went back to the East. But there was so little to pick from at this point. And the thing that got me is I didn't even win the pot for the last round. This guy, number 81, he won. He won twice. He got one. He got the first round. He got the last round. Dolmage did. So those were my picks. So I've already lost. St. Louis is not in the playoffs. So I've already lost 2 players right away. I am in a hole. So the only hope I have is that Tampa Bay and Winnipeg go deep in the playoffs. The deeper they go, the better my chances are. Or I might be like this guy. The worst I've ever did in this hockey draft is 55th overall that I know of. There's not many years where I wasn't in the middle of the pack. There's been quite a few years where I was in the top 20. There was one year I was in the top 10. That was when Montreal Canadiens won the Cup. I had Kirk Muller as my go-to guy. The guy who had Gretzky didn't even win that year. Amazingly enough, he had Gretzky and then he had a bunch of nobodies. And Gretzky had 40 points. I think he was in the top 10 though. So there we have it, the Belmont hockey draft. It's spent $25 on my ticket, spent $30 on some drinks, $6 on side bets, won back $8. So not bad. But anyway, any hockey fans out there, let me know if you guys do a draft every year. This is by far the best draft I've ever been to. Leave comments in the comment section. Until next time, this has been Hockey Night in Belmont.